All right, greetings. All right, tonight is with the Zeta Gray um say series. I'm not sure how long this is gonna go because they're not exactly the most talkative beings. We'll see where we get with it. So interesting. Well, you never know. Uh, yeah, maybe they will speak a little bit more. So tonight's Men in Black. Also, I talked about a little bit yesterday, and I'm gonna go. I'm not sure if we call it deeper, but maybe give a different perspective of MIB and MIB. What's there? Oh yeah, timeline split. Back we're going through it because the upcoming election it makes it so difficult to predict where things are going. So it's I have an idea, but I'm not gonna go into that. But it just feels like timelines are jumping, moving around, and it's just we're just on here for the ride, basically. So that's about it. All right, we're just going to connections and see where we get. So let's see how long I can go. It's been a long day, so let's see how long we get with this. All right, blessings. Here we go. Greetings. We are the Men in Black. This is Agent N. Greetings. It's your service on Earth. Greetings to you. Yes, we have not been interacting with you for some time as we have observers, and we don't necessarily have to mingle with you and let you know how things are. But you are going into an interesting time, basically knowing more about your government, as many do want to know more about the secrets within. So, as for when that timeline comes about, it's still up in the air, but many of you are bringing that vibration through. So basically, not have the secrets so buried within your earth. So that's why some of you go through a lot of blockages, mental blockages of all sorts. Because some of you are connected to the hidden government energies or however you want to label it for yourself. Global elite systems. And yes, if you want to bring that out, and everyone's technically capable of doing so, but those of you that are looking into those realms can uncover a great deal that's hidden. And you get kind of, I wouldn't call it penalized, but some of you feel like you do. Well, some of you that are, we use the word deep divers, into the unknown. Well, because the world is not ready for the knowledge that you have. So, like I said, everyone's capable of higher dimensional knowledge, but can you bring into this environment? It's a whole different story. It's kind of like there's a white line, there where you can't pass it, and that's a frustrating part of what you signed up for. Oh, I can handle it. I can handle not knowing, not be able to bring anything into this environment. Oh, and then when you get here, it's like, oh, this sucks. So obviously, there's a lot of secret societies here, but also many of you are tapped into that vibration that can bring you through. Those that wish to do so. As for when, how, and where is a whole nother story. And yes, there are some that feel like it's humorous on our side. Galactic know-it-alls, which is quite, and it's funny. Some of their knowledge is completely wrong, but to them is right. Well, they have a biased way of looking at things, just like your newsmakers. Many aliens are biased too. So it's quite humorous how some just feel like they're important. And some are actually ambassadors that are ambassadors of nothing, or they just get everything wrong. But they want to look fancy, and you can see that on their world today. without going into deeper details. Of course, your alien government is still you're still in your old government energies, you can see. But there's a new one coming in, but it's not going to show itself too clearly. Not many are going to really look at that clearly. Who wants to look at an eyesore? Or hear it for that matter? See an eyesore, hear an eyesore. Who would really want to put that in their environment? Now, yes, there is a lot of Arcturian energies here that are assisting. Of course, there's a great deal of actually carrion beings that are assisting, of course. A great amount of beings that are working with you basically to reveal the hidden hand. And there are many hidden hands that are here. It's not just one. There's there's a Russian hidden hand in the United States, or Canada version. China version. China has two. What China also is, say what you want about China. It is a download point for your planet. Meaning you bring in information through there that connects to the rest of the world. Even as we speak, you get kind of blocked on it. Yeah, it's happening right now, actually. Look at your Japan with technology at one time in your 80s. That was your global leader for technology. And then you can say it got blocked, or you can say whatever you want, but and then your American companies, like you have your phone today. Now, Japan could have did the same thing, but they decided not to. They're not going into deals of why, but they allow the Americans to bring that about. So astrally, that's been basically Americans, or at least your American company or Apple, feel like they can do a better job with it. Let's put it that way. It was like decided in astral for it to go about. It's a cultural reason. It's especially your Japan had such a, and China, of course, but Japan did play a big role in your electronics lifestyles, the Walkman and other things. So, and of course, Asia just still plays a big role in your manufacturing. So, but down China is your main download point for your planet. That's why it goes through what it goes through. That's why it's so unique. It's just an open point. That's why you see cities in your clouds and alien creatures here and there, mountains singing on and on. It's a foreigner. It's just an open. It has a door open where other places keep it closed. And the forbidden wall, or the firewall, the internet firewall. Well, yeah, because you can't see what they're up to. That has a lot, and they don't want to be westernized. Also, well, they want to keep their culture. You can say, well, you want to keep the door open. Not that that would be shut, but they don't want their people too influenced by Western idea systems. It's tough there. It's like they have one way of doing things. It's like, why change it? At least that's their point of view. It's once again, it's a doorway to your universe. As you connect to it, I believe many of you have a different viewpoint of your world. Yes, there's hardships there. Of course there is. There's going to be everything there, as there is. A lot of mysteries, of course, too. Yes, forbidden or hidden empty cities, yes. Well, also Zeta worlds have the same thing. The experimental worlds that they developed, and it's like, okay, that didn't work out, or it did what it was accomplished, and then they moved on to something else. It happens quite well. It's incomplete. They don't want people there. It has many different reasons behind it. They're actually working on future cities too, and I believe some of you can get the idea of that in their modern world too. So, but this isn't all about China, but China does play a big role in world influence, as you're being influenced with it today. I believe your Zetas have a word about us. So our energies are, yes, hidden for obvious reasons. We are not there to write off, sign autographs, or I don't think many of them want us to even visit you. Of course, a lot of alien sightings have been drawn back quite a bit recently. So yeah, normally we don't pay visits when an alien ship is a government ship. No, but if it's an alien ship, yeah, that's when we start visiting. Like you weren't supposed to see that because we have a lot of methods to keep sightings hidden, but it doesn't always work. Not to go into detail, but your world is, as you know, a matrix or a computer reality or whatever you want to look at it. And so a lot of the fourth dimension is blocked out, at least alien sightings wise. So that's another reason why you're not seeing anything. It's just it's there. It's just you can't see it. Now is that going to change? Well, that's all we have on that. Good luck with your alien disclosure. Greetings. We got the Zetas, Council of Nine. Greetings. Yes, your Men in Black are, of course, been here throughout your history, keeping alien energies in check. Yes, they are connected to Orion vibrations, of course, to keep the timelines going. That is for your soul growth. Of course, they're not always there for soul growth, but there's a lot of different types of alien beings that have not been brought to your subject, your presence. The Nazca lines hasn't been completely cleared. Also, that's been a mystery that will continue. There's a lot of mixed messages there, decoded energies that they're not ready to make public fully. So why certain Nazca lines are being public now than before is because they're still studying a lot of it. They don't want it out in the public just yet. Now, obviously, there is forms of cover up that they're capable of, and cover up, of course, is still going to continue. Yes, you have a 2 week transformation of your country of how the people are going to change what you're going through at this time. Your Men in Black, yes, they're like an alien government. They're actually one of the first alien governments. You can say they're suppressors, but it's basically they are like almost like the Knights of the Round Table, but not of the positive. Well, they have different reasons. There's positive and light, but they're kind of like your galactic knights, but not always for your growth. But actually, they do hold. They keep the Earth experience going, and which many of you signed up for. For most, because the idea is that most humans are disconnected. So if that vibration of them being reconnected to the higher understanding, and then you'll have your sightings everywhere. But most of your people are shut down. Yes, it cause anarchy and all. Of course, some of you might feel difficulty believing all of that, but there is a form of it that a lot of alien beings don't want to take responsibility for. Meaning, like, there's a sighting, yes, that alien sighting, that being that did that has to take responsibility for all the chaos they brought onto your world, riots and all. They don't want to take. They don't want to take that responsibility on themselves. So they'll just have little sightings here and there, and not the big sighting. Yeah, because once they, that's why a government visitation is more likely, because if there is chaos here, it is your world taking care of itself. Yes, it may be fake, but whatever it is, it's still on your ground. So they don't have to blame the Palladians or the Syrians for mass insanity, hysteria. That's another reason why it has not occurred. We are building up to a form of disclosure, yes. It would most likely occur in your next year. As for what's going to occur is still up in the air, but many of you are going to start feeling, we'll give you 2 weeks. After the 2 weeks, you feel a different vibration. and you feel like more like you're on an alien world. Let's put it that way. Once again, we don't want to say there's going to be alien ships landing in your backyard anytime soon. There's a lot of soul growth you're still going through, but the realization that you are on a, because your world's going to become very different. It is already coming different now, isn't it? So you can add another layer of weirdness to your reality, as many of you know. And so many are still having difficulty. Yes, all these things that are being channeled can be brought into your environment as for being part of your lifestyle. And most likely it will occur eventually in your lifetimes. We feel there's no holding back anymore. Your evolution to technologies come to an end. Basically, now you're going to a soul growth of yourselves and where you don't need technology anymore. Of course, you're going to still use it to a certain degree, but you're connecting more to your higher dimensional selves. I mean, many of you are going to become less reliant on food and technology in your future. Some of you might be doing, yeah, that's when your telepathy begins to open up too. Not saying it's going to open up instantly, but some of you are going to feel more of that block release. Yes, of course, it's not going to be for everyone because everyone's on a different path. Some of you don't need your telepathic abilities fully open. Some of you don't need your third eye fully open. As many do feel, you'd be surprised. Once the third eye is open, it causes a lot of difficulties for your growth. So like if you have a soul growth timeline you're going through, your third eye most likely is going to open up as you think it would. There's a lot of things here you're still figuring out in your own life. Many feel like there is actually a responsibility for third eye awakening. Basically, it's for you getting used to the fourth dimension, but you're still here in third dimension here to understand that. So you're still understanding your current reality. So nothing has to be fully opened up just yet. And there are some humans here that feel like they are like dictators of the world or the universe and they have all the knowledge already. There is a great amount of that, actually. I think some of you have had some run ins with some of that. That's why some of you don't bother with alien groups or spiritual groups because why bother? Because some of those spiritual groups have a little dictator here and there are several. So it makes soul growth even more difficult. What does some want to create their own empire? Maybe not in a cult-like way, but in some way they do. Some of you have already seen experiences like why bother? Why bother? Because you're already having the religions. Why even experience it again in your spiritual realms? You want to be open instead of closed. So in the awakening of many, even the spiritual teacher can be kind of a dictator themselves too. It's like you can't do this, you can't do that, you have to do what I say, which is already happening today. And some of those are the larger spiritual groups at this time too. Now, some of them are very open and disallow openness to occur, and they're still learning. That's one thing, but others are just saying, "I know the road, I know how it works, and that's it," which is very common. And the light will be shined on that also. Yes, that is the new religion, as many of you see. Spiritual understanding, growth is a new religion, and as we see in the religions, spiritual communities are going to have some of that energy there. Not completely, but some just need to feel like they have more to grow within themselves. They feel like they need to be rulers of others, which is difficult to watch. Which also, it's a growth for many of you to just go independently and find your own direction. You don't need a dictator to tell you what to do. Because there are versions of that here. Some of you have already experienced it on different areas. But it is, you learn what you need from that dictator and then you leave and go do your own thing. And that's a dictator, narcissist, it's all the same thing. So yes, you're going through a timeline. Timeline splits have always happened, but now you're coming to a major event. So shifting is very immense now than ever been before. Well, any type of event that you're leading up to that like your elections in the U.S. is a big deal. So timeline shifting, anything. So it's there to disclose anything. Anything can go, yes. So yes, expect the unexpected is what we'd say at this time. more than ever before, because these are uncertain times. Many are already concrete. They know who the winners are going to be, and a lot of them are going to be way off. Well, a lot of it's because of anger. They feel like everything's going in the wrong direction, and they're about to see the true side of things. As for your men in black are quiet, yes, for right now. Well, they are more than happy to step away, but society has to figure itself out. And yes, there are beings keeping society shut down, but that's why you are here. You're here to awaken society, but it doesn't happen instantly. It takes a long time, generation to generation to generation. It's how any type of reality. If you just you can't put a new engine into well, I guess you could in some ways, but into an old car or one of those 1920s car, you can't take an engine that you have today and put it in one of those old cars. I don't believe so. Well, you can't take a Tesla engine and put one into those 1920s cars. No. So I guess you could make it work in some ways, but sometimes you need to let things change on their own. But that's what you're here for. That's what you're talking to others, knowing yourselves, or talking to nobody, just talking to spirit. It doesn't really matter because your energy is assisting. Yeah, even if you have no friends, you don't know anybody, but you are aware of what's going on. That's connecting to the astral world. Many of you are here to connect to the astral. That's why you're alone a lot. So you can know what the astral is. That's why many of you don't have a whole lot of connection to the outside world. So you can connect to the Akashic records and download information there. So there's reasons why you don't always I'm trying to make friends. I just don't see anything happening there. Nothing's happening organically. So a lot of it's an astral connection there to spirit because you have it's to keep you focused. You might not, it's hard to see it in the third dimension, but as you connect more spiritually, and some of you are here to open up more of your spiritual selves, healing past lives that are very deep wounds, but also bring out your new future. Some of you are futurists too. You think you already know who you are. Let's see the future as it is, or as you see it. Let's put it that way. Whereas the dictatorship no longer exists, or you see it more clearly. But yes, there's many dictators everywhere, all through religions, all through spiritual communities. Just those that feel like it's what I say and that's it. That's wrong. That's wrong. What I say, but many of you are multidimensional. You don't see it that way. Everything has knowledge. All knowledge is pure. Just keep yourselves open. See, those that want to close you down and control, those are the ones that will be exposed. Because you want to stay open. You want to keep open mind, open ideas, belief systems, keep it all open. That speeds up your ascension. That's where religions came in to shut things down, as you can see. Oh, you have to think like this, and that's it. You might interpret it, have interpretations, but they're still there to be a dictator of your reality. And it has worked. It did serve a purpose. Maybe not an easy purpose, but it did serve a purpose. It serves the self energy. But it's also a lesson for society. Many went against those belief systems. It didn't always go very well. But yes, many of you actually incarnated as Garthian beings here to fight those belief systems, to take down religions throughout your past. Without naming names. Yeah, because the Gartha wants an open earth. The elves, the tree people, the fairies, they want an open earth. Believe what you want to believe. It's like a hippie world, basically. Where just anything goes. That's when your elephant people will show up. That's when more of your aliens. The elephant people are very strong on your planet at this time. They're hidden, but I believe some of you can feel their vibrations. Well, they've been through this on their worlds too. Where mindset comes in and shuts everything down, shuts you off from the universe. Many worlds have had this happen, actually, but not to this extent. So you're here to reconnect back to the universe. And because you have a 2-week situation going on right now, we don't see a lot of alien interaction just yet. But I feel like you are getting your next year is a different story. Where yes, the laughter of alien connections dies down, and more take it more seriously. Where you don't feel like you're wearing a dunce's hat talking about all this and been taken more seriously. This is why many are reluctant to speak about it for obvious reasons. Doesn't mean aliens are going to land and they're going to be part of your society and get a job at Starbucks or something like that. Unlikely. There are realities where that does exist currently. But basically, you're going more multi-dimensional. That's all. That's all. And that doesn't mean you're going to have an alien spacecraft land. But basically, society basically becomes more of what you're capable of. Your magic, your connections to Agartha, just allow freedom of the mind to continue. A difficult one now, isn't it? You are also you are the leaders of yourselves, as you know, of what you want to take in, what you want, what belief systems you need right now for this lifetime. You give them information. It's like I'm not sure if that's true or not. That might not fit with your lifetime, but it is still in your energy field somewhere. I mean, someone might give you an answer to one of your questions like that answer didn't really work with me, but sometimes it appears over time in that lifetime, or it's still in your energy field. The reason why answer is brought up, it might not resonate with you, but doesn't mean that it's not part of your energy field. And some don't even want the answer. They don't want to know about themselves. They put block after block after block. It's because why the blockages are there, so you have your timeline now with your family, people around you, and if you open that block up, it might change things too much for you. But you can't concentrate on these things anymore. Now you're looking outside to the stars or whatever it might be, or open up your telekinesis abilities, but you see the reaction. Now some of you actually see this happening in another timeline, and that's why you put the block there. Is because it takes you out of, I wouldn't call it a comfort zone, but just basically for others, it's just not time yet. Let's put it that way. Doesn't mean if you go by your heart what you feel like you need to experience. What do you need to experience to enhance yourself and others? So talking to alien beings might not exactly enhance your life at this time. For some of you are aware of it, but it doesn't mean you have to preach it to your family just yet. But you need to understand it yourself first, still. As when the time does come when there is an alien vibration here, it's like people are starting to realize, is there an alien presence here after all? Because we do feel like the energies of the earth will shift where people will just start to feel it. That you're not alone. Doesn't mean you're going to see anything, but you'll feel it. And those that question the vibrations of alien presence are going to question their own beliefs and like, maybe we were wrong after all. So that's more where you're heading. Is it going to happen next year? More likely, yes. In some form or another. I'm not saying exactly how. But you're going more into a disclosure reality, yes. But it doesn't mean you're going to have ships in the skies. You have to keep repeating that. For obvious reasons. We may see more detail where your world is going. Doesn't mean that the holds, their manipulations on their society is going to be fully released, not just yet. Not yet. Is it life going to be easier for many of you? Yes and no for some. Some are going through there's a lot of suffering on the world. Nobody wants anyone to suffer. Of course not. But when some are so headstrong in their own belief systems, they have to learn from themselves. They have to go through a certain kind of struggle to break out of their old mold. It's like you're in a cocoon of beliefs, and sometimes you have to fall and hit the ground and learn how to walk again, or learn how to look at things differently. So it's like taking a bird and kicking it out of the nest and for it to figure out if you can fly or not. That's basically what's happening right now. It's difficult, but sometimes you need that environment. So you've tried everything, nothing works. Just kick him out of the nest. See what happens. So.